shouldn't have said anything. I could if I had started it earlier. Okay, so we are starting now. Screen share. All right, share. Welcome back to Latin, guys. Okay, so where are we in the week? Make this go away. Remember, we're just reviewing chapters 11 through 20, one at a time every day for this week and next week to kind of catch you guys up, warm you guys back up. But at the same time, we are like properly starting chapter 20, which is where we left off in the spring with the online videos. Audrey, do you have a question or you're good? Couldn't get the what? Sorry. The browser? Yeah, let's see. You want to help her real quick? Thank you so much. Okay, so we reviewed chapter 11 yesterday. Those were the personal pronouns. We'll look at the personal pronouns again because, I mean, it's going to, that's always something worth looking at. But today is chapter 12. And we're going to keep practicing chapter 20. So let's look at the chapter 12 grammar, then the chapter 12 vocabulary, and then we will practice chapter 20 a little more. Keep in mind, the first homework is due tomorrow. Interesting. All my other classes are due on Thursday, but y'all are my only 2.5. More like 2.75. This is Latin 2.75. So we'll check that chapter 20 homework tomorrow. That'll be good. That's good. Thursday we'll review 14 to 15, and then we'll have that vocab quiz on chapter 17 through 19, which I might have a few extra copies of if someone doesn't have that somehow. And the first Jeopardy game of the year, which is truly, truly exciting. We haven't played Jeopardy since March, the middle of March. That's like insane. If we ever go online again, I should figure out. There's got to be a way we can like do online Jeopardy, maybe. Maybe not. What is it?
It's like you just kind of log in and just keep going.
Yeah, it's this game where there's a question on the board and there's 4 different answers. And then you have to pick that answer, but like each kid has like a different device, and then like it connects with phones and stuff as you put in an entry code.
Okay.
Like Disney ones too. You can do like any question. You can, like I made mine today, so it's like coordinated by like red triangle, green square, blue circle.
That sounds cool. I played some good Zoom games with like my family early on in quarantine. When, like, I don't know, everyone was treating Zoom like it was like I don't know, like the modern equivalent of like sending like post in the mail. That would take like weeks to get to a person or something. What were you gonna say? I thought you were gonna say something. Okay. All right. So those are the personal pronouns. Oh, am I? Okay, I need to keep going. No, we didn't do that. Here we go. That's what I meant to be on. Okay, so perfect tense. Okay, it's really not too bad, but people still have trouble with it. Somebody in one of my 9th grade classes still gets translating the perfect tense kind of mixed up a little bit. We just need to feel really comfortable with it because it shows up a lot. I talked about last year a lot of the time that like this is basically the default tense rather at this point. Right, in the first 10 chapters, you get the present tense. You get imperfect, bomb, boss, spot. It's the easiest one. Was or were verbing, were is verb, and you get future, bogus, bit, etc. And then you don't get perfect until chapter 12. And for perfect tense, you're using the third principal part, right? That third principal part is already first person singular perfect tense, so it's I verbed. Verbed is the best way to translate it. Just anytime you see imperfect verbs and perfect verbs, translate both of them as verb, okay? Whether it's bomb, boss, spot, or whether it's isti, if, imus, istis, eros. Because why not? They both get to be verbed, so why not have them be verbed? What is our other option, though, if you want it to be very nuanced and use a specific word that starts with an H instead of just verbed? What would that be, anyone in Phoenix? Yeah, have or has. So I have, you have, it has. Has is just the third person version of have. But you like don't need to, so maybe just like translate it as verb. But that's not the hard part of perfect. The hard part of perfect is that you guys are having to grapple with a principal part that you did not like learn at the same time as the verb. This is partly my fault, but it's just kind of like how Latin is by design. When we're first learning verbs, I definitely have already this year. I'm like, only worry about the first 2 principal parts. We will mess with these for months and months. It was true at the time, but then that means that y'all were kind of glossing over the third principal part. third principal parts, if you chop off the I, which is like the actual ending of it, they often end in V, in X, in those are really common. Oh, U, and that's probably all I can think of off the top of my head. But they end in those letters a lot of the time. So it'll be V or XI or UI. That happens a good bit of the time, but it's not always the case. Sometimes it's sometimes they look uncomfortably close to like the stem of the second principal part. So it's kind of a vocabulary thing. If you use Wiktionary a lot when you're doing homework, you'll probably it'll become kind of a crutch for you because you'll type in like Amavi. Wait, what is that? What's going on with Amavi? You'll type it in. Wiktionary will tell you this is perfect first person singular. And so you won't be doing the work yourself to figure that out. So the better way to do it is to be like, I know if you see this and you don't know what it is, it'd be better to type in amo or amare into Wiktionary. And then it would just be like, this word means to love, but here are the principal parts. And you'd be like, oh, the V, that means it's perfect. Then you'll figure it out. But yeah, that's like the actual hard part of perfect tense. It's not so much translating it. Translating is like easy. Spotting it is a little weird because we've never had a first person singular end in I. So in a way that's distinct, but I think some people think it's like an adjective or something when they get to it. Like they don't recognize it as a verb ending because it's not OST, must have sent, or isti is actually so weirdly distinct that I feel like that really should jump out to people. Like this is second person singular perfect. Third person, this one, since it's just IT, you're in danger of thinking it's just like present tense maybe. Again, that's where you kind of like need to know the root of the third principal part as opposed to the second principal part. Any questions so far? First person plural also looks potentially like it could be present tense if the stem was from a certain verb. The worst offender is probably winio, winire, fourth conjugation, wane. Okay? The only way this guy is like the first person thinking of perfect is different than the second principal part is literally the fact that this has a macron over the E. That's it. So if this is like venimos, that means not we come, but what? Anyone out loud? It's perfect tense, so it's not going to be present tense we come. It's going to be, yeah, we have come or we came. Came is fine. That's one where it's not quite verb. It's came. It's not. So sometimes verb is misleading. But anyway, the only way we know that is with the macron. That is by far the worst one. Usually they're more clear. Something like diligo, which means to love something. Diligo, diligera, dilexi. Okay, it gets the X in there. The X is a dead giveaway that if it's like dilexi, isti, dileximos, it's got to be perfect. It's not present tense. So I don't know. It's not too bad, but yeah, sometimes you'll think it's just present tense, and you would be wrong. First person plural is maybe gonna do that to people. Is my lectern blocking anyone's vision? Yeah. Thank you. I've asked the first two classes that no one said anything. I know they were lying. They had to be lying. Okay, so I just don't want to speak up, I guess. Second person plural is, again, just like singular, super distinct. Isti versus istis. Okay, so those should jump out to you as perfect tense. And then third person plural is the odd man out. It's erunt. So that's like feels way different than the first five. Yeah, that one's weird. But in a way, it's distinct in its own way. It's just distinct in a different way than the other ones. But in chapter 12, you don't just get perfect. You also get perfect tenses, buddies, pluperfect, and future perfect. Future perfect almost never shows up, but pluperfect shows up a good bit. Pluperfect, though, is like more consistent and easy to identify than perfect, though, because they end in these imperfect forms of sumese. Eram, eras, erat. Eramis, eratus, erant. It's going to be using the same stem as the regular perfect, but instead of e, isti, it, imis, istis, erunt, it's those endings. And what is the key word for translating the pluperfect? Anyone out loud? There's an H. Did someone say have? Or no? No one can think of it? Had. Yes, had. Yeah. So with perfect, you can use has or have if you want, but I would almost suggest that you just don't and just do verbed. Pluperfect, you have to get that had in there. Had has a different sense in English. It means that something is taking place even before perfect tense verbs take place. Pluperfect is the furthest back in time you can go, tense-wise. And then, yeah, future perfect uses the future tense forms assume essay, and that's I will have verb. It's really easy to translate. It's just kind of like you need the will and you need the have. And it like basically never shows up at all. Any questions about this? Raise your hand if you're like still kind of freaked out by the perfect tense. Just be honest. Just be honest. You are like identifying it. And it's probably is it because of the stem thing, the root, where like you're not super used to the third principal part? Probably, yeah. Because like if you know something is perfect or pluperfect, is it easy to translate it? So it's just knowing that it's perfect and pluperfect. Yep, that's kind of weird. Maybe next week we'll do like a Quizlet where like I have perfect tense verbs next to present tense verbs. Were you gonna say something? No? You don't understand the perfect tense? Good. I'm glad you're saying so. But like, can you specify like what part of it is throwing you off? Is it the third principal part? Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So yeah, the third principal part. I mean, principal parts are weird to begin with. I'm like teaching the 1.5 class. That's what the video some of y'all are watching right now. And like we're talking about the first two principal parts in that class, and it's hard to explain to people like why they even exist. Now, if you look at an English dictionary, there's always just like one form of the verb. We don't have like these principal parts. But you know, this is the first person singular present. This is the infinitive. And the reason in chapter 1 why I'm like, oh, don't worry about this one is because it's called the perfect stem. And to get the actual stem, you actually do have to chop off the I. Because that I is actually, that counts as like the ending for the first person singular. Just like how this is first person singular present, this is first person singular perfect. It's like already conjugated in first person. But you use the stem of it to form all the other ones. So you add amav to isti to make it second singular perfect, etc. Do you know how? What if you identify something as perfect? If you know it's perfect, do you know how to translate it? Yeah. So just like with Lucy, it's like identifying it. We'll really put a spotlight on that this year because yeah, that was the thing all last year. I would get like kind of frustrated and grumpy because I'm like, why don't y'all know the perfect yet? But like that's because like I hadn't quite taught it in the way that like really clicked with all of you. So yeah, I like how I'm standing here a lot and my computer's like, okay, this video. Oh wait, but they got screen share. They're mostly looking at the screen. I'm just like a little thumbnail. Okay, but yeah, spotting is kind of weird. Well, like if you know these endings pretty well, you're mostly good. I say this one is real liable to look present. Like these will never look present tense, right? Like you would never look at these endings and be like, oh, that's just a good old OST must have sent verb, right? Does that kind of make sense for you too? Whereas like this one, you could look at this and think it's just a fourth conjugation present tense verb. And that's when it gets real kind of nasty. This one could also look fourth conjugation present tense. This one could not. This one is very like distinct. And this one, I feel like this could show up in like, no, I think this one's pretty distinct too. So it's mostly these two guys that we don't like. The third person singular and the first person plural. Y'all kind of understand what I'm saying? Or are you kind of like, I don't even know exactly how you're saying that. But I'm just thinking of like OST must have end. Like we know that is not O, right? So this is present, that's perfect. Present, perfect. So I verb, I verb. You verb, you verb. Yep, we'll keep practicing it though. Okay, pluperfect, I had verb. Okay, little notes here. Remember both imperfect and perfect can be translated as verb. And y'all definitely know those imperfect verbs, right? Bombas spots. They're the easiest endings to spot. So yeah, they could both be translated as verbs, and I'm fine with that. The way verb is different is like sometimes it's translated, as you see here, as was verbing, or used to verb, or even kept verbing. But like I say at the end there, but verb works fine in most cases. So why not just use verb? Oh, thank you. Did everybody fill it out? Everyone did? Okay.
And then the Latin, the video doesn't have any volume and it's just the lesson.
So you might be watching the wrong one. Does anybody else have sound? Yeah?
I'll use the
Oh, did it auto caption it decently? Well, if you can put subtitles on, there must be sound. So it must be something going on with is sound turned off on like the computer itself, like it's a little speaker icon. No, and have you used those headphones recently?
Yeah.
Oh wait.
Well, let's just try to play it out loud. Just like one perspective. Here's what? So well, maybe my gosh dang mic was off when I made this video yesterday. That could happen. Well, yeah, but doing closed caption, there's no way you can do that without having sound.
Well, the gosh dang here's everything you hear. So. That's not a good one. I can be talking about like
Okay.
it'll be like, oh yeah, like example show. Okay, like you know.
All right. So sorry about that. Tomorrow's video. We just expect another video. But nobody, so Jackson and all of them in last class, they watched the video and they definitely heard it. But I guess it's because they were watching the one I just played. So no one, Adrian, you haven't gotten sound?
Okay.
Did you get sound?
I have headphones.
You don't have headphones? But
Okay,
like,
sound.
y'all just try to play sound to the computer from my video.
Wait, hold on.
Just try. Just so we can test it. You know? Okay. Y'all just click on my user and go watch the video from. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'll have it. I'll definitely have it right. But we did just hear it.
I'm trying to make it right.
So y'all play around with it, but I'm sorry, I must have messed that one up. But I did the one for last class correct. And I'm doing this one, I have the speaker on. Anyway, hello, I'm back to the video. That was a weird part of the video, probably. Sorry guys, we'll get it going by tomorrow. These are just hurdles as we kind of debug everything. Man, shoot, no one, because I sent that out last night, no one had told me that it didn't have sound. All right, I should have like figured that out myself. I'm gonna test it on my computer, but I'm gonna get back to class right now. Okay, so yeah, just remember, perfect, have verb, let's do verb though. Fluid perfect is have verb, and future is will have verb. Okay, let's actually just like run through the vocab for chapter 12 too. Remember, that's what we're gonna be doing these weeks, these next 2 review weeks. Just to kind of like get a handle of what the vocab of that chapter looked like, so you can get a sense of like, I really don't know chapter 12 vocabulary, or like I mostly know those, so I'm fine. Either way, you might write some of these down if you like know you really don't know it, but you probably don't need to write like a lot of them down. Adolescens, anyone out loud? Yeah, it means youth, though we get adolescent from it, not adult. Honest, ani. Good. So we get what from it? Annual and words related to that. This one is Asia. Kaiser, Kaisaris is. This is. Oh yeah, I think this is a chapter where they give you really easy ones since the grammar is so complex. Mater, matris. Good. Medicus. Not medicine, but doctor. And this can be masculine or feminine, depending. Pater, patris. Yeah. Patientia, patientii. It is patience. You're thinking of patria. It's patience. It can also be suffering, which is like a very different spin on the idea of patience. Principium, principii. Good. Beginning. Yeah, this is the beginning. It's related to words like principle. But if you think about the word principle, it means like the start of a chain of command, I guess. They're like at the top of a chain of command. Aceribus, acerba. This is similar to acer and
Bigger?
yeah, bitter, or does it say harsh? So harsh might be the way to go for that. Pro is a preposition. Not quite before. You're close. You're thinking of, what are you thinking of? You're thinking of ante, and not post. It's not after. It's not. Doesn't have to do with time so much. Phoenix. Not quite above either. That's super. Bailey. Yeah, good. So it's for or on account of what? Oh, okay. So ante is before in terms of like time. Pro can be before as in front of. But yeah, you want to specify. Like I don't actually like. That's the one thing you run into with Quizlet. In front of is probably better, but more often it's going to be for. More often it's going to be for. Yeah, and then maybe it would sometimes be in front of, or even like on account of. Okay, interesting. Do you? Well, yeah, I guess you wouldn't. You probably wouldn't. You didn't have Latin.
The last one.
Oh yeah, so you can see a lot of them are guessable, but you didn't have any Latin before this at all. Okay, that's why you need the 1.5 video, but you need it with sound and headphones. It's ironic. It's like only one of y'all brought headphones, and then the sound didn't work. Phoenix. A long time. Good. Yeah, this is an adverb for a long time. It'll tell you how long a verb is happening for. It's usually modifying a verb. So you never got it, Audrey? You never got it?
No, it's still not.
Okay, sorry about that. Tomorrow's video should be good, and maybe I'll make like a replacement for that one. Ugh. Okay, technology. There's a lot of technology in teaching now. New pair, anyone? Not neither. You're thinking of neuter. Not in everything of numquam. It's actually recently. It's an adverb. Doesn't show up too much. No related word. Okay, we're at our verbs, which we're at the end. Amitto. To send, yeah, and it's kind of more like send away or to lose. Even let go, apparently. But lose is the way to do that. Kato, katara? Somebody said something. What? Usually to run? Not to run, that's kuro. Oh, that's another C1, kuro. This is to fall. It can even be to die. It can be to die. So like kind of like a symbolic fall, I guess. Creo, creare, this one's easy. To create, yep, to create. And that's all of them. So that's not too bad. There's only like 3 or 4 of those that y'all kind of stumbled on collectively, which is decent. All right, see, look, I'm not muted. You can see the microphone icon. It's filling up with the green color. So this video should be good, and last video. So maybe I just got to make a replacement video for this one. That's weird though. It's like, watch I test it on my computer after class, and like I can hear the sound, but hopefully it's not the laptop. I guess it's better if it was something I did and not the laptop. Okay, let's do at least one translation. We don't have too much more time left, or do we? Oh yeah, we got 20 minutes, so we can do a couple of these. Who can read this in Latin, please? We got a big old sentence. This is from chapter 20, which is the chapter we're on now. So you need to be able to do sentences like this if you want to be able to do your homework easily. Tammy, thank you. Good, very good, thank you. Okay, so we have a lot going on here. Got a lot going on. Is there a part of this sentence? I wish this wasn't here, but let's ignore it. Is there a part of this sentence where we can kind of divide it in half, maybe? Kind of hard to know where to divide it. Phoenix? Because you see what? You see what? Right, we see quai, so there's something going on there that is probably the start of a what kind of clause, Phoenix? There's an R. We reviewed them on Friday, but it's already been a few days since Friday. So it's probably the start of a relative clause. Remember, qui, qui, quad means which or that or what. We're going to have to review them a lot more than we already have. But yeah, so starting there, we probably have a relative clause. So I'm going to underline it, kind of put it in its own little thing. And that'll probably keep going until we hit a what. And you want it until at least when we hit a, yeah, maybe a verb. So maybe this whole, because that's a verb, right? So maybe that's a relative clause. So we can handle that like secondarily, and we can take on the main clause, which is all of this. And so it's still pretty big, actually. Still a big old main clause, but at least it's like a little bit simplified now. What does out mean when out is showing up twice? Adrian is troubleshooting the sound. Okay, so yeah. Why is the captioning working? I'm so like cautious. Tammy? Yeah. So the first out you see will be either so ... and then the second one will be or. So we have an either or kind of situation going on. What is Ingentes Montes? Anyone? Colorado has a bunch of these. Yeah. Mons Montes is mountain. What declension is Mons Montes? Mons Montes. Not fourth. Yeah, it's not. We are expecting fourth declension nouns, but Carly. Oh, they look accusative. They could be. So, but you're thinking of third declension, right? If it has the es, so it could be accusative, or it could actually just be a plural subject. So mountains could be the subject. We don't totally know yet, but yeah, Carly's right. It's either a plural subject or a plural direct object at Montes, and obviously Ingentes is going with it. How about I use red to underline my noun phrases? I don't know if it's a subject or a direct object. So either huge mountains or Flumina Caleria. Phoenix? Not clear. We actually get accelerate from Keller. Yeah, so swift or fast. River or rivers? Yeah, good. Oh, this is the red I need to throw away. I have like 2 bad reds today. So this is another third declension. We got a lot of third declension. Where's our fourth? I thought this was the fourth declension chapter. But yeah, flumen, fluminus. So flumina, this is a neuter one, so it gets the A. Or again, this could actually be a subject or a direct object. We still don't know. We have a compound subject or direct object. We don't know yet. And then we hit our relative clause. How are we going to translate qui? Anyone? Phoenix, if you just had a guess. Yeah, which, like we're probably, the antecedent of which is probably referring to what in the main clause? Well, Lucy? Yeah, probably both of them. Well, maybe not Caleria, but probably the rivers and the mountains. Like the relative clause is going to expand on those two things. So either huge mountains or swift rivers, which de montibus fluebant. What is that? De montibus fluebant. That's actually not too bad. Fluebant, fluo, flura was a verb y'all got probably during quarantine era. The English meaning is kind of sounds like the Latin version. Starting confidence, Bailey. Yeah, so it is flow. Fluo, flura is to flow, but what did you say? Flow. Not from the flowing mountain, but like remember, like this flowing mountain would actually be an adjective. It's a verb there, so it's like which verb de montibus. Closer. I think you're almost like overcomplicated, which is like a good thing to be doing because it's always nice to like simplify it. Phoenix. Yeah, which flow from the mountain, right? So which flow from the mountains, or I guess it'd be flowed because it's what tense? Anyone out loud? Imperfect. So which flowed from the mountains or were flowing from the mountains or used to flow. Here it actually maybe would be a good idea to use were flowing or used to flow. Not a big deal though. So that's the relative clause. We took care of that. Now let's actually finish off the main clause. I just like already know I want to skip hostes ab erde. And I think the presence of hostes is answering the question that Carly first posed when we realized that these were either subjects or direct objects. If hostes is showing up here, what is hostes? And what will it mean that Montes and Flumina probably are? This is going to be one of the two things that those could have been. Enemy. Yeah, it is enemy. Good. So we get hostile from that. It's hostess, the third declension noun. And so is this a subject or direct object or what? Yeah, I feel like where it is in sentence, this is the direct object, which means that it's answered the question we had. These are probably subjects. So, and now prohibebant, I'm saying right here, it means to announce. Let's see. So what is our subject? Because why would mountains and rivers proclaim anything? Interesting. Let's see what we got here. Weird. Phoenix?
It probably, like locked the enemies from
The enemies from. Oh, wait. So why did I write Pronuncio? So that's just a typo from. Okay, let me fix this. Prohibeo. Weird. Okay. Hibeo means to prohibit or keep out. Yeah, exactly. So Cammie, put it all together. What do you think this is going to be? I'll let you clean this up a little. Yeah, they keep what from the urbe? Yeah, they keep the enemies from the city. Good. Sorry, I complicated that a little bit myself. But in blue there we have the relative clause. Urba is a ablative of separation. Because prohibo along with libero and careo all get this ablative of separation. All right. And let's see. And montibus is ablative of place from which within the relative clause. Okay, that was kind of tricky. This is a chapter 20 vocabulary, by the way. We've already looked at it. Let's do at least one more for the day, and then we can probably call it. But let's do some like rapid fire vocab. Cora, what's conium? Conium's kind of hard. See, Elaine, you remember conium? Hayden, what's conium? Huh? You don't remember? Okay, you probably have some kind of notes out, right? I don't know why people wouldn't have anything out. Because conium you can write down now. It means what, Phoenix? Not because you're thinking of quote, I bet, Bailey? Yeah, good. It means since. We don't see it a whole bunch. It means since. And nimbus is another adverb we like never see. Not another adverb, but it's an adverb rather. And it means what? Not too little, but Cammie? Excessively or too much. Nimbus means too much. Modifies a verb usually. And then fortia facta. Phoenix? Kind of facts. You can translate facta, factum, facti as facts sometimes, but what's better for it is a word that starts with a D. It's like, well, first of all, what does facio facere means? It means to act, or even just to start with a D, to do. It's a very general verb, just like ago agra. Facio has a lot of overlap with ago agra. So something that has been done is a good or bad. What do you get for well, no, I don't know what the use of a deed. Okay, so facta is more like deed is what I'm trying to say, and it is related to facio facere, something that has been done. Okay, so I think we have a dropped subject here. I just have a feeling, because I don't think deeds do things. I think people do deeds. So does anybody want to take on these first 5 words? They're a little awkward. Phoenix?
Since you.
Not you, but maybe just like what person is faciebat?
Because it.
Yeah, since
it did
or was doing like too many good deeds. Good. We probably want to say like was excessively doing good deeds. Because we want to make sure that Nimbus is modifying Fakiebot and not Fortia Fakta, since it's an adverb, it can't actually modify adjectives. But that's kind of hard. Good. Since he or she was excessively doing brave deeds or strong deeds. See, that's what makes the sentence awkward. You never describe deeds that way. What? Itos eos erat brevus. What is Itos? It's what you guys, what kind of just ended for you guys. It's still ending. It's still kind of this in August. Yeah, summer. So summer, eos, what is eos? What case is eos? It's a personal pronoun. We talked about it very briefly yesterday. Phoenix? Yeah. Y'all are so good in this class. Y'all can probably err towards just speaking out loud. Honestly, we'll see how that goes. But anyway, yeah, something like his or hers. It's going to depend on what gender we decided for our third person subject of Fakiebot. And then erat, brevus. Is just a very simple kind of predicate adjective situation. What is erat though? Yeah, it's going to be like was. Good. So who wants to put it all together? I can only be totally certain that Phoenix, Cammy, and sort of Lucy are present today. No, I'm kidding. But I want to hear from some of y'all in this zone right here. This zone. Y'all feel a little sleepy today, maybe? No? Yep. Maybe in that corner. Haven't heard from Maddie yet. Anyone? So since he was doing excessively doing strong deeds, is summer, Phoenix? Or brief. So I bet the reason why y'all are kind of quiet today is because it's a vocabulary thing. So you might need to be real proactive and start doing your own kind of refresher sheet already at this point. I said something probably yesterday about like, oh, maybe we hold off on that because like you don't even know what you don't know yet right now. Like next week you would definitely want to start keeping a log. But that's probably the biggest part of warm up. Like yeah, grammar is something you got to warm up after a long summer, but vocab is like, if you don't have vocab, there's no chance you can translate. Whereas, like, even if your grammar is really good, if you don't have the vocab, it's not gonna like come together. Phoenix?
It says it's
Age. Okay. Yeah. That can be age. I'm thinking of Istos. See, I'm rusty on vocabulary too today. Like seriously. Oh my gosh. So okay. Istos is summer, piss, third declension, and this is age. Sorry about that. Yikes. Autis. They're both third declension though, so they are very easy to get mixed up. Okay, let's do. We only have 5 minutes, so do y'all want to do chapter 13 vocabulary, or should we force Parker to single-handedly translate this sentence?
Yes.
Parker, what's the
Yeah,
subject?
Parker.
Tell me what the subject is real quick. Just like bam.
American?
Yeah, Illa Medica, right? Which is gonna be what? Yeah, that doctor. What's the predicate, Hayden? What's the predicate? Yeah, Fakara, and then what? Patarat. So that doctor does what? That doctor. What? We want to use a helping verb that starts with a W to translate Patarat. The Patarat is not present. It's was. And what does pasta mean again? No, you're thinking like Sum essay was Phoenix was able to do or make. We don't really know yet. We probably need more context. And then what? He was able to do, or maybe like if this is the direct object, maybe it would be he was able to do close. Maybe just much. He was able to do much, right? Like if we want multus aum to be a noun, much is the way to go. Much. And then manu dextra, these are not the same case as multa because these guys, these macarons, tell us they are probably what case? Anyone out loud? Ablative. So maybe it's it's not the one with manners, but the ablative of, yeah, it's the mean one. So he was able to do much with what hand? No, that'd be Sinestra. His right hand, but he was able to do few, or like maybe like little. We can just be kind of like liberal and say little with his. Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. Yeah. So that is an adverb of means. So I used with. There is no cum there in the sentence, but it's just like there's nothing else it could have been. And this is also adverb of means, and these are both direct objects. They are adjectives that are substantive adjectives. Okay. We can do half of this one before the bell. Y'all remember at? Yeah, Sarah? Right, for nouns or verbs? So the vocab thing, you need to be able to like tell if it's a noun or a verb. And you have this, right? This has like all these not that one. But the one you have has a lot of charts on it. It has the noun chart and the verb chart. You know, let me get you one right now. Yeah, all the kids who are using laptops right now should also have this. It's a different one than the last 3 kids have. Did you get one yesterday? There you go. It's going to be your best friend for the rest of this class. You have it? Don't take it from me if you had it. And then, yeah, so like this.
So I'm not really sure how I'm supposed to do homework. Because like there's
I need to fix that. Do you have this? Okay, but are you sure? Everything's so specific. And you didn't get that either?
I didn't, but I don't understand it.
Yeah, so that's why yours won't be due till Friday, and Thursday's video should help you a lot with it. So just kind of hang tight, as weird as that kind of sounds. And all right, should probably call it for the day.